Disclaimer. This is a work of satirical fiction. Any resemblance to real places or situations is purely coincidental and exaggerated for comedic effect. The story intentionally contains factual inaccuracies and absurdities as part of its artistic expression.
Jeff and Apples walk the street, talking about the sky so neat. Weather, weapons causing storms, globalists with secret forms. Jeff and Apples, what a pair. Whisper plots while breathing air. Apocalypse is on its way, but they still find time to play. But they still find time to play. But they still find time to play.
Hey, doing there, Apples? Oh, pretty good, pretty good. What are we gonna talk about? Hope dying? St. Klaus? Transhumanism? You got it, Apples? Yeah, can we go more than a week without some sort of major events happening? It's tiring us conspiracy theorists out. Actually, not me though. I did 5 hours of self-work today, floated in a plasma bath, did a hyperbaric chamber. I feel awesome. I suggest to all the other conspiracy theorists out there to do similar things so you can keep up with all this stuff because there's so much going on. Of course, we just passed Easter, which, as always, is completely not what most people, or not what it's supposed to be at the very least. Just like with Christmas, I think we already lost Apples. Oh, there, Apples, come on. Apples. She's not very good at following me. But just like with Christmas, supposed to be the birth of Jesus, but it's not his birthday, and most people celebrate it by getting into a lot of the deadly 7 sins: gluttony, greed, materialism. And then there's Easter, which is supposed to be, I think, the resurrection of Jesus, which to me is actually realizing this is all a 3D video game and realizing you're not your mind. But anyway, most people celebrate it with Easter bunnies hiding chocolate eggs. As you do. It all makes perfect sense. But all these things actually come from older sort of things. This is Ishtar, pronounced Easter. Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. Her symbols, like the egg and the bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols. Or did you actually think eggs and bunnies had anything to do with the resurrection? After Constantine decided to Christianize the empire, Easter was changed to represent Jesus. But at its roots, Easter, which is how you pronounce Ishtar, is all about celebrating fertility and sex. Yeah, nothing is how it appears here, and nothing's what they say it is here in the Matrix. But you might be saying, well, Jeff, did you tell your family about all this? No, not really. See, you don't have to tell anyone anything. That's one thing it took me a while to learn too. Like after I found out 9/11 wasn't what they said it was, I told everybody. And I was getting like into fights at cocktail parties, and people were like, didn't want to be around me and stuff like that. You don't have to tell anyone anything, but it is good to know for yourself. So we did actually have an Easter party at our house, as we have parties basically for everything. And had a lot of kids over and had basically a bunch of Easter bunny stuff and hid a lot of eggs.
Tienen premio adentro de los premios. Ábrelo, tengo.
I didn't tell the kids about it all and what it actually all means, but it really was just a nice celebration with basically our extended family. All those kids, except for a couple, are part of the extended family, and a couple are our good friends' kids. So I just had a really nice day with all the families and stuff, and gave the kids lots of little presents and stuff, which is all really nice. And it was funny because on Easter Day, I see Andrew Tate posting this.
What are you doing?
One person works, the rest have to do cardio.
It's not cardio.
Cardio, wait for a set.
So that's your leader of the mainstream alternative media who tries to teach you all about how to be a man, and apparently being a man is hanging out and doing a bunch of gay stuff with all your buddies, and no families involved ever. Nothing. Zero. Yeah, just pushing the materialism. He's posted another photo. He's like, we're all locked in, gonna make some money with our sex trafficking stuff. And he gets hundreds of millions of views on social media, and he's supposed to be the big proponent of how to be a man, when I would say to be a real man, and not necessarily like, you know, some people just can't have kids or didn't for whatever reason, but a big part of it is having a family and being the real leader of that family, which is something I've finally been able to do. It took me a while. I kind of practiced with my first two, but I'm doing it right with my last one, my latest one. But yeah, it's kind of interesting how people do different things, but that's what I was doing on Easter. And then, interestingly enough, on Easter, of all holidays, the Pope died, they said. Pope Francis' cause of death revealed after his final surprise appearance for Easter. And CNN nailed it. Pope Francis' Easter is going to look a little different this year. That was posted before his death. They're pretty good with their predictive programming. And actually, on Easter Sunday, J.D. Vance was there. And actually, the Pope was looking pretty decent. Like, he didn't look terribly sick when J.D. Vance was there.
Pray for you every day. God bless you. So good to see you. Good morning. How are you?
Find yourself happy.
Good. Yeah, thank you. I've not been feeling great, but it's good to see you in better health.
Grazie Santo Padre.
Thank you.
These are for your children.
Okay, thank you.
These are the gifts. These are also gifts for you.
Thank you.
It's
It's beautiful.
the Vatican tie, and then the rosaries for your wife, the white for your children, and the red one is for. Thank you very much for your visit.
Of course. And thank you for seeing me. Pray for you every day. God bless you.
Io prego per lei ogni giorno, che Dio la benedica. Grazie Santo Padre.
Happy Easter.
And right after Pope Francis was dead, which has a lot of people saying J.D. Vance might have killed him. And you know, I wouldn't put it by them. I've seen so many times. Like, for example, President Barack drone bomber visited here in Mexico in 2009, I believe. And 2 days later, the swine flu broke out here in Mexico City, right where basically Obama and the CIA had just been. Now, of course, there was no swine flu, but they come and they do all kinds of evil stuff. These are like some of the most evil people on earth. Would it be any surprise if the CIA/Mossad went there and killed the Pope just for fun? Not that they'd be terribly against the Pope. The Pope's totally on board with all the stuff they do. But it wouldn't be surprising at all if that was part of the reason why the Pope died. But in any case, he did die.
Well, he's dead, so...
And, well, they say, I don't believe anything. Like nothing. Zero. But here's the Pope Francis before. Pope Francis urges people to get vaccinated, calling it an act of love. Yeah, he was telling all of his flock to go inject themselves with poison. And I don't know if he injected himself or not. Sometimes they inject their own people with these things. Like, they don't care about their own people. They're all just useful goyim to them. But who knows? Maybe he did take the backs and, well, there's some sudden karma.
Sudden karma.
Here's something interesting. The prophecy of the Pope stated that 111 popes would reign before the final Pope, Francis. And the day he died is the 111th day of the year. Foundering also said the 88-year-old Pope didn't randomly die on Easter Monday during the occult season of sacrifice. Just saying. Yeah, the chances of this being completely natural is almost zero.
Zero.
Because as we know, the people who do all these things were on 60 Minutes a few months ago saying they are the producers, they are the directors, and they are the actors of basically every major thing that you see happen in the world.
We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. And the world is our stage.
So the odds of the Pope dying on Easter during the season of sacrifice with no sort of agenda whatsoever is very low. But they do say that is what happened. That's very interesting. Definitely, you can't make this stuff up. This 3D video game is amazing. Even if it was like completely natural, like it just happened, and there was no reason for it except for it just happened. You still have to say this is the best 3D video game ever. Like, to have the Pope die on Easter Sunday, so perfect. And you know, it's kind of interesting. It's the Roman Catholic Church, right? And a lot of the evil stuff that still is in this world all stemmed from Rome. I know a lot of people still don't know that. But that's really the case. And that's still, to this day, is one of their major power centers, the Roman Catholic Church. It's one of the richest organizations on earth, which is what you do when you're telling people what Jesus said about giving to others and stuff like that. There's so much gold at the Vatican. Way more than Fort Knox. Whatever happened to them looking at Fort Knox, by the way? But there's way more in the Vatican. There's also a lot of hidden stuff there. It's also one of the top pedophile rings, probably in the history of the world. It's so interesting that people get into these organized religions, which are, in my opinion, all there to keep us all separated, to keep us disconnected from source. Because if you actually listen to what Jesus said, if it was true and if it's real and all that kind of stuff, which I don't believe anything, zero! But if it's true, he said a lot of things like it's all inside of you. He never said go to a church. He never said you had to read a book. None of that stuff. He said a lot of the stuff that I talk about. It's all inside of you. It really is. And you can go there every day. They call it meditation. You can also call it prayer, but prayer is a little bit more active, where you're actually speaking, but you can actually just listen and sit there, and you get closer to basically the Creator through doing it. But no, they've got it all set up, so you go to a bunch of pedophiles, give them a ton of your money.
He loves you and he needs money.
And then you go into a little box and you can tell them the bad things you did, which you should be dealing with that on your own anyway. And they'll use that against you. That all goes into the CIA sort of files. And might get set up for something in the future because of all that. And they'll tell you that if you ever do anything at all, you're going to burn forever. Yeah, it's crazy, but a lot of people believe in all this stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, you got to do the work if you want to survive this matrix at all, and if you want to get reconnected with Source, because this is all basically a trap. And that's a long, long story on how this all happened. But it's interesting that so many people don't have any clue, especially even Christians and stuff like that. They have no clue what Jesus actually said. In the Bible, the book that they say they care about, it talks a lot, and I mean a lot, about the synagogue of Satan. And they say they call themselves Jews, but they're not really Jews, and they're super, super evil. And most Christian and Catholic churches and all that will tell you that Israel, the Rothschild country, is who you got to support. And, you know, you got to... Oh, and the other thing is, all you got to do, you don't have to do the work on yourself. You don't have to connect directly with Source yourself, with God yourself. All you got to do is say you believe. You just have to say it. You believe in Jesus. Okay. And then all these people do that, and they never connect themselves, and they continue to do all these unvirtuous things. And they keep giving their money to these pedophile rings. And most of these people do almost exact opposite of what Jesus does. I think there's a Gandhi quote that I like your Christ, but I don't really like your Christians. And remember, Jesus, if what they say is true, basically told you don't have to go to church or anything. Everything's inside of you. Do the work, and the work can include, by the way, like going out into the desert for like 40 days fasting, detaching yourself from all of this materialistic sort of stuff, which is all actually not even real, which Jesus talked all about. He also basically said, don't listen to these people like Caesar, and don't pay their taxes. And the only one time he got a bit violent, because he was pretty chill dude, was when he saw the Jewish moneylenders in the temples taking advantage of people and basically getting them addicted to their debt and stuff like that. And according to the stories, Jesus went and overthrew the tables. But what do you have today? Most of these Christians have no problem with the central banks or the fiat currencies. They're happy to pay their taxes. I'm an anarchist. Most of my followers are statists. Yeah, and most of them are totally okay with their governments blowing up little kids, destroying everything. None of this stuff is what, like, Jesus talked about. But your average Christian has no clue. It's just incredible. Anyway, so the Pope died. Will be interesting to see what happens next now. And on the same day, it's kind of, this 3D video game is amazing, or the scriptwriters are amazing. Klaus Schwab stepped down. World Economic Forum's Schwab steps down after over 50 years. So that's interesting. The Pope's gone. Now Klaus Schwab steps down. And I know the whole Q sort of, the CIA thing that they try to tell everyone is that Trump's taken out all the World Economic Forum. They're doing all the same stuff. Elon and Peter Thiel and all those people are doing all the things that Satan Klaus and Noah Harari all talked about. I wonder if Harari is going to be his replacement. Humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have this soul or spirit and nobody knows what's happening inside them and they have free will, that's over. And he wasn't kidding, by the way. Like, billions of people on Earth have injected themselves with Killgate's self-assembling operating system that we still don't know exactly what they're going to be doing with it. But we know they have it. Most people have a MAC address. No one ever talks about this. You ever notice that? No one talks about it. But if you go on a plane, you just look up Bluetooth, you'll see there's like 100 Bluetooth. And I know some people will say, yeah, but Jeff, that's their phone and stuff like that. Most of them are not. If you look into it, if you know how to look at the Bluetooth codes and stuff like that, those are the actual people. They've all got Bluetooth codes now. It's actually already been done.
They would get graphene oxide placed into their arm, and they would begin to register as a MAC address. Internet of Things, through the injections. Right here, they would be able to pick up a Bluetooth signal from those people who were injected with an RFID chip. And their bodies are working like an antenna So when people are saying spike proteins are jumping all over, in reality, the people with the poke are working like a cell phone tower, receiving signals. This gets crazy. That's a MAC address. This is even crazy. These are two fellows who go out to the cemetery and start picking up Bluetooth addresses from people who recently passed.
It's so incredible. What a incredible video game this is. This is so amazing. See how the Pope gone, Satan Klaus kind of gone. But everything else just continues on. And of course, last week we saw the female astronauts doing their fake space stuff. And if you thought it looked a little familiar, maybe you've watched some predictive programming. And again, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't even really care. But what's far more likely is that was just another ritual by these same types of people who are doing all these things. And your average person gets so caught up in, oh wow, Katy Perry, she went to space. First of all, I gotta mention, most of these people talk nonstop about how we all gotta stop driving SUVs and stuff, and how global warming is gonna destroy the world, and we need the governments to extort everybody to stop it. How much fuel goes into that rocket, if the rocket's even real? But if it is real, and no one even mentions that stuff, but what it was is probably most likely what this guy says.
On a tous compris que les images sont des CGI, il n'y a plus de débat là-dessus. Non mais regardez les graphismes. Mais le plus fabuleux, ça reste le moment où les actrices ouvrent la fausse porte trop tôt. On leur dit de vite la refermer. Et Bezos qui débarque avec son levier en métal.
Here goes Jeff Bezos to open the hatch.
Pour faire semblant d'ouvrir une trappe déjà ouverte. C'est une farce. Mais avant tout, c'est un rituel. Elles partent dans un phallus et reviennent dans un utérus. L'œuf cosmique. C'est pas un vol, c'est une renaissance, comme la tournée de Beyoncé, parce que les célébrités féministes sont là pour célébrer la nouvelle race androgyne. Une ascension artificielle, suivie d'un retour dans l'utérus technologique, parce que dans l'occultisme, tout est inversé.
So I feel really connected to that strong divine feminine right now.
Le féminin sacré est remplacé par une figure synthétique, androgyne, robotique. Tout ce qu'on voit dans la culture pop, the highest high.
It is the highest high.
Katy Perry fait pas référence à l'espace. C'est le climax rituel. Une offrande pour leur dieu synthétique. Regardez leur patch. Un Baphomet inversé. Tout est codé. Et qui a lancé ce cirque? Jack Parsons, scientifique et sataniste. C'est lui qui a donné la forme phallique aux fusées modernes. Vous n'irez jamais dans l'espace, mais vous irez forniquer dans une prison digitale.
Yeah, let me explain something to you. This is a breakdancer. Those are astronauts. Yeah, they didn't even try to make any of it look real. They just don't even care. They're like, no one will ever get, like, hardly anyone of the NPCs will ever get it. And they just, like, even the door on the penis-shaped rocket thing. First of all, they opened it early by accident. They forgot because there's a bunch of ditzy women inside. And then Jeff Bezos walks over with his, it looks like a thing to take off lug nuts off of an old car. Puts it on for like 1 second. And the thing just flips open, and you can tell it's like less than a half an inch thick. There's no heavy, like I've seen a heavier, more solid looking door on a Winnebago. And this thing's apparently flying 10,000 miles an hour. This one didn't get burned up at all either. Just incredible. Meanwhile, since then, all the other deceivers were out. Tucker Carlson, who's with the CIA, went to have a chat with Conor McGregor, who works for basically the Mossad-owned UFC. And, you know, they could have had this chat anywhere. But they chose one of the oldest Freemason lodges on Earth.
There will be accountability.
Are you going to do it anyway? You're maybe the most famous living Irishman, and you're saying things that the overwhelming majority of your politicians will not say. What do you think they're going to do to you if you keep talking this way?
Attempt to tarnish as they are and move forward under God. And my nation can see.
You're really not afraid at all?
Not an iota.
Yeah, they're all happy, giving each other the Freemason handshake. Meanwhile, right behind them is, of course, the Freemason logo, but even more apropos, like a surveillance camera, just kind of showing everything all in one photo. And yeah, just Conor McGregor's going to come and save everybody from this this horrible thing that's happened. All these immigrants came in under the last government, so now we need a new government, and they're going to create a police state, just like in the USSA, track and trace everybody so that we can get all those people out. It's just incredible, and your average person falls for it. You see, the thing is, all this stuff is BS, all of it. Now, of course, the Matrix itself is kind of BS. None of this is really real. But you think it's real because you're kind of trapped in it at the moment. And I get it. Most people can't figure out that this isn't even real. But inside the Matrix, most people can't figure out all the lies inside the Matrix either. One of them is governments themselves are criminal organizations. The meaning of the word government means mind control. It should be very obvious, but it's not obvious when you're under mind control, and most people are. So they just keep falling for this Jones Plantation thing, bringing this side, that side. This one's going to save you. The other one's going to save you. Oh, look, he's a UFC fighter, and he's really popular. He's going to come in and save you. Yeah, and they're just sitting there at the Mason Lodge just laughing that people continue to pay their taxes, which is just extortion and theft. And keep paying attention to what they're doing. And, you know, I pay attention only so much as to totally mock it and show all the stuff that's real about it. But you should just turn off all that stuff, stop paying the extortion, stop using their currency, which is actually one of their biggest ways they retain so much control in this Matrix. But your average person is so under mind control and has been so, because they've went to 12 years of government indoctrination camps, they've never been taught how to actually think or how to actually do anything. So your average person is like, well, I don't know how. How do I use Monero? It's like, it takes 5 minutes. Go on YouTube. How to use Monero? Yeah, but then the store down the street doesn't take Monero. Well, talk to them. See, if you want to get outside of this entire prison system, you got to do a couple of things. It's not even that hard. It's like super easy. But most people just won't do it. And they're going to end up more and more enslaved and more impoverished and eventually genocided. That's the plan. That's the plan of the people who control Donald Trump. And I've said so many times, Donald Trump is basically Jewish. He converted to Judaism in 2017 at the White House. It was reported in a lot of the media. Everyone in his family is a Jew. Now, of course, none of them are actually Jews, but a lot of people might say, oh, Jeff, you're kind of crazy on all this stuff. Well, every single person in his cabinet is either Jewish or Zionist, is basically the same thing. And then you have stuff like this, where like people like Mark Levin just goes, yeah, you're our first Jewish president.
It's an honor to be here with the first Jewish president of the United States. And if he isn't, he should be.
I've been telling you that for a long time. But people can't see it. And by the way, those Jews hate anyone who's not a Jew. And I mean hate. They want to kill you. That's what their beliefs are. Maybe not all, but a lot. A lot of them. And, I wonder what Israel was doing this Easter. Israel is bombing Palestinian refugees in tents on Easter. Yeah, Max Egan has said the way of Palestine is going to be the way of the world. And you better hope that's not the case, because it's not looking good in Palestine right now. And that's what these people want to do. If you're not within their tribe, and their tribe is all made up, by the way, they're basically in a satanic death cult. A lot of them, not all, but a lot of them. And if you're not, they want to kill you, enslave you, deceive you, keep you actually away from knowing who you really are. Because if you actually knew who you really were, you'd change this world dramatically. You'd change the matrix. You'd actually get outside the matrix. And the matrix actually doesn't even really exist. It's just all you think it exists. It's a massive mind control thing. Massive, massive. But I don't know. I guess I'm just crazy talking about all this stuff. Everyone else talking about like stupid stuff, and I'm pointing things out, and then they're like, Jeff, you're crazy. Like the real ID stuff. Jeff, I've got a real ID. I've got my yellow star. Oh, really good. You don't see anything interesting about that? Everyone's got a yellow star now, and it's to track you. Yeah, but Jeff, you need it to drive. Yeah, well, you don't. Have you ever? I don't need one to drive. Why do you need one? Because you're scared you might get pulled over by a Mason who works for these people, and they will beat you up or kill you or take your money. I know, but that's because you keep allowing it. You should listen to Jesus. He tried to tell you all this stuff. And what happened to him? The Jews killed him. It's incredible. I remember all these Trump magatards, maggots, all saying they'll never do a vaccine passport. Vaccine passport? Nah. Real ID with my yellow star? Oh yeah, no problem. I haven't heard a lot from Elon and Doge lately. It's amazing how they just like do these things. They just stop and move on to something else. They do their fake space ritual, then they kill the Pope, and everyone forgets about how Elon said they're going to send everyone $5,000 checks from all the money they saved from Doge. But then they sent most of it to Israel to bomb little kids, while people at Roman Catholic churches cheer it on. Yeah. So whatever happened to Doge? Oh, they are working on something. Doge has partnered with Peter Thiel's Palantir to build a mega API for the IRS extortion agency. The mega API would centralize sensitive taxpayer extortion information, such as names, their social security number, which is like their slave number, income and filing history, into one platform accessible across federal systems. Yeah, the PayPal mafia. Elon Musk and Peter Thiel back again. Elon's doing the Doge, which is bringing in all the AI. And, they said they cut some stuff, and that's what they do, but no one ever saw anything from it. And actually, the U.S. debt hasn't gone down one penny. And they keep sending money off to Israel, and now Elon's bringing in Peter Thiel of Palantir, which is an AI killing company, that are actually, the AI system is killing little kids in Palestine right now. And they're going to work together to make sure that the U.S. government knows everything about you. Now they got your real ID with your yellow star. They're going to be like putting that into the AI system. Soon there'll be drones coming out. If you don't pay what they want, or if you say something they don't like, you're just going to get something happen to you. And most people are just paying for it all right now. And they can't believe any of this stuff's happening. I actually can't believe, when I started the Dollar Vigilante in 2010, I had no idea about most of the stuff I'm talking about today. If you'd show me this video that I'm doing today, right before I started the Dollar Vigilante, I'd say, you must have snuck a DMT or acid into my food or something, because that's insane. All I was talking about in 2010 was how the US government and the US dollar will eventually collapse because it's just numbers. And how to protect yourself from it. Of course, we were saying buy gold. Soon after, in 2011, we were saying buy Bitcoin at $3. So we've done quite well, but I had no idea about most of this stuff. I didn't even know about a lot of the so-called Jew stuff until after the October 7th false flag, which is totally proven now, by the way. Did you know Israel says they now have lost all the security footage of that Hamas attack on that day? You know, just like NASA recorded over all the moon landing tapes. Are you getting it yet? I can't believe all this stuff's happening, and I'm telling lots of people, and most people think I'm crazy. And you know, maybe I'm a little crazy. Maybe I'm a little crazy for even bothering to try to wake anyone up. Although that's not really my goal as much anymore. It's not. I think part of it is I just like doing these videos. It's like my little, because I'm mostly meditating in a plasma bath, or I'm in a hyperbaric chamber, or I'm with my family and stuff like that. This is like a couple hours a week I can get out and talk about how insane the Matrix is. But most people will never see this, ever. I'm banned, of course, on YouTube, although we stuck back, just so you know. We put up a disclaimer and it somehow evaded a lot of their stuff so far. But for 5 years, we couldn't get back on it. If we tried to post anything, it'd be immediately deleted. Now it's not as much, and we put a disclaimer at the start of every video saying it's all satire. And so far, they haven't deleted any of our videos for the last month or so. So if you're on YouTube, actually, you can't find it in the search. If you go to YouTube and you type in $Vigilante, you will not find the channel. So it's massively shadow banned. But if you go and search for the channel $_Vigilante, you should find it. And if you're on there, subscribe to it. You know, maybe it'll get it out to more people. Got a few thousand views on there now. But I'm banned like everywhere. I'm still banned on FBI Book, even though Mark Zuckerberg came out and apologized and all that kind of stuff. And I am on X, but about half of the people who even follow me see about half or 1/10 of what I post. And no one who doesn't follow me ever sees anything I post. So it's the whole freedom of speech, not reach. So you can't find me on there, but I'm one of the only people telling you what I think is the truth. And even telling you how this all works and how to get out of it. I might be the only one doing that, actually. I don't know of anyone else who's got it figured out and actually knows how to get out of it. But you can't find me anywhere. What you can find, though, is Joe Rogan, billions of views. Gets paid hundreds of millions of dollars. He's such an outsider. He's taking down that system, having Trump on all the time. And you have Mossad agent Ben Shapiro and Mossad agent Tim Pool and all these kind of people. You have Jordan Peterson, who's mostly just crying a lot now, which is like, they put him on so much mind control and so much drugs.
It's also overwhelming. You know, I think it is one of the things that...
It's pretty sad to watch, but he'll still just promote the whole Israel stuff because that's what he gets paid for. And you'll see Russell Brand, who used to be married to a Rothschild. He used to be married to Katy Perry, who's now doing the fake space stuff after she was promoting the lethal injection stuff. And he seems to be worth millions and millions of dollars. And he gets hundreds of millions or billions of views. And if you listen to him, he'll tell you, well, we've taken over, just like Alex Jones. We won, we defeated the globalists. Look, even Klaus Schwab resigned. But all their stuff's moving forward. But Russell Brand will tell you, nah, it's much better now. Now you've got the real truthers out there standing up to them.
The point of government is to take public money and put it in private hands. The problem with modern media is there are now continual bulwarks. You get rid of Joe Rogan, you got to deal with Candace Owens. You get rid of Candace Owens, you got Ian Carroll. You get rid of Ian Carroll, you got me. You get rid of me, you got to deal with Lex Friedman. You get rid of Lex Friedman, you got to deal with daddy of them all, Alex Jones. How are they going to control, smear, shut down every single one of those pundits? You get rid of Crowder, you get rid of Tim Pool. How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? And ultimately, it's more important. You guys are more important. You are the people that matter. So in a way, whatever you talk about in the Rumble chat, you're a Zionist, you're an anti-Semite, it doesn't really make any difference. Even issues as significant as Israel and Israel's power, even issues as significant as the Russia-Ukraine war, even issues as significant as Epstein's power, fade when compared to the spiritual war that I believe we're in now.
Yeah, they're so good. They're like, these are the real truthers now. Joe Rogan and Ian Carroll, who works at InfoWars with Alex Jones. And they're telling you all the truth. No, they're not. They tell you some truth, they have to. But the real truth, and do any of them speak out about Israel? No, that's how you know. I saw someone ask, they're like, Jeff, how do we know you're not controlled opposition? Well, use your gut, use your intuition, use your instinct. Beyond that, just look at things. Who are these people? Joe Rogan, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of views. All these people have that. Andrew Tate, all these people. Then look at Max Egan, homeless. Look at myself. I actually do have some stuff, but I'm almost 60 years old, by the way. Although in real terms, I'm about 30 now. I've been de-aging by decades. Another thing I tell people about, and some people are like, he's crazy, he's a scammer. Okay. But I also am banned basically everywhere. So is Max Egan. And many others, by the way. It's not just me and Max, there's many others. And I'm banned on YouTube, I'm banned on FBI book. None of these people are. They're everywhere. And they're worth hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. Now, like I said, I have a house. I have a couple cars, yes. I live in Mexico, which is great, so I can have a few staff, a nanny and a chef and stuff like that. They make like $700, $800 a month. I've been working my entire life. I had an internet company in the 90s that was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, although I got wrecked by the tech bubble crash and walked away with probably less than $1 million total, but that was enough to rebuild. I got into gold stocks, doubled and tripled it up, lost it all again. Started the Dollar Vigilante, got into Bitcoin, built it up again. And been doing stuff like that ever since. But these people get billions of views and have hundreds, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or billions of dollars. That's how you can tell. The guy on BitChute who's blocked everywhere is probably not controlled opposition. And I can tell you I'm not, because I'm not. But, you know, you can't, you know, I could say that, I could be lying, right? But anyway, use your gut and use your head. And no, don't listen to anything I say. Don't take anything I say as being the truth. Look into it yourself. I'm mostly just pointing out all this stuff that these other guys never point out, by the way, ever. Most of the things I've said in this video so far, all those people I just named, Joe Rogan, Russell Brand, Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro, all these guys have never mentioned, Andrew Tate, have never mentioned any of this stuff. Anyway, believe me if you want, I don't care. That's the cool thing, I just don't care. I am just enjoying this experience, and doing these videos is fun for me, and that's about it. But what happened to all that stuff? Remember, they're gonna put out the JFK files, the Epstein files, they're gonna look into Fort Knox, gonna look into the whole COVID's bioweapon, lethal injection, depopulation that Trump was behind. They even said they're gonna look into 9/11. Oh, you've got another one of these controlled opposition people, Benny Johnson, who gets millions of views. And he's out there telling you, oh, the federal government, they're burning all the documents as we speak.
You said that they've destroyed the documents. And you're just talking about COVID documents. So do we have any hope of ever getting like a proper Epstein document dump? Is there like actual hope here of getting any true documents that are related to events of September 11th or JFK? Or have those things been so black boxed and so decimated that we'll never know the real truth?
Well, again, just like we have thousands of recordings versus one Zapruder film, it's not just the sender that has a record of email communications, for example. So, I mean, the Dr. Morin's email, we didn't get that from the agencies. We got that from a university that email was sent to. So there's a lot of people, you know, we gather information from all kinds of different sources, and we cross-reference, you know, when we're asking for certain communications. If we get it from one party outside of the government and we don't get it from people within the government, That's how we have evidence that they're either covering something up or they've already tried to destroy evidence. But again, in today's electronic world, it's hard to destroy, particularly electronic evidence.
But they're still doing it. But you were able to find cases of them doing it.
Yeah, well, again, my guess is they are. And again, the fact that there's nothing responsive to our subpoena with Tom Shimabukuro indicates that, yes, he absolutely destroyed evidence, that we had sent letters, preservation of record letters to repeatedly to the agencies not to destroy this evidence.
Yes, Trump and Elon tried, guys, but and Kash Patel, Kash, before he got in, he said on the first day he was going to, if he was the FBI director, he was going to shut down the FBI.
The FBI's footprint has gotten so freaking big, and the biggest problem the FBI has come out of its intel shops. I'd break that component out of it. I'd shut down the FBI Hoover building on day one and reopening the next day as a museum of the deep state. And I'd take the 7,000 employees that work in that building and send them across America to chase down criminals. Go be cops. You're cops. Go be cops. Go chase down murderers and drug dealers and violent offenders. What do you need 7,000 people there for? Same thing with DOJ. What are all these people doing here? Looking for their next government promotion, looking for their next fancy government title, looking for their parachute out of government. So while you're bringing in the right people, you also have to shrink government.
Then he got in, and he's been focused mostly on Tesla terrorists, which is a manufactured crisis, but doing a whole bunch of drug busts, which is total BS, war on drugs, which is just evil.
We're here today because of your dedicated leadership to safeguard American lives, because you have the courage to follow President Trump's courage to put our children first and to make sure that the narco traffickers, and make no mistake, this administration has labeled them foreign terrorist organizations because that's what they are. There is no lethal force on planet Earth that is responsible for an overdose death of an American citizen every 7 minutes, more so than these federal terrorist organizations, foreign terrorist organizations. We are humbled to be a part of this Department of Justice, and we are going to continue to safeguard our streets. This is what it looks like when the United States whole of government approach brings every resource to bear, from the Department of Defense and the United States Coast Guard, from HSI, from FBI, from DEA, and so many others. They are going to get all the drugs off the streets, off the markets, and as Attorney General Bondi said, we are going to lock them up.
And hasn't looked into anything, hasn't fired anybody. It's just incredible. Got a little soccer player over here. But yeah, now they're the government people are burning all the files. Pam Blondie, she had them right on her desk, but now they're burning them. Do you see what's going on yet? Like, I'm out of Toto's house. I really am. I ran out a long time ago. But now, oh Jeff, there's some bad people in there. The whole thing's bad. The whole thing's a show. I think people are slowly getting it, but I don't think they know what to do, and I don't think they get to hear things like me, what I tell them. Because if they did, I think a lot of this world would change. That's why they don't. See, crows. See, I just said something that just disrupted the matrix there. I just said that I can change this matrix quite dramatically if I could get through to people. And the crows went off like they're going to go get something. It's very interesting. If you got eyes to see, all this stuff it's all just perfect. This is the most amazing video game ever. It's not like they haven't done this before. I already brought up the Israelis lost all the tapes of October 7th now, with all the beheaded babies and all the rapes and all that kind of stuff. And they lost all the moon landing tapes. Well, they recorded over them. You see, there was like a football game that someone wanted to see, and he didn't think it was that important to keep these moon landing tapes.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology.
And now they're recording over, deleting, or burning all the Epstein documents. And we'll never know. We'll never know now. How could we possibly know? It's not like we already know the flight logs. It's not already like we've seen all the photos of Prince Andrew with all these women and little girls. Little girls, actually. But not necessarily little. I should point that out. The ones that I've seen are like, you know, look like the 15 and stuff, which actually I don't think's that bad. I think the whole thing's like a distraction, actually. But the real stuff they do is with little kids. And like torture and killing them and adrenochrome and all that kind of stuff. That's the real stuff, and they'll never bring that out. It's not like they haven't done this stuff like so many times before. They do it all the time. Like even the Oklahoma City bombing. Have you ever looked into that one? Look into it. Nothing about it makes any sense. The Timothy McVeigh guy is a total patsy. They killed him when he was 33 years old, of course. Did you know? It was just the 30th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. Reminder, this building in Oklahoma City was blown up and destroyed just 4 days before Hillary Clinton was to be indicted in the Whitewater scandal. All documents lost.
We came, we saw, he died.
No one's ever gonna get it. Or maybe they will, but it'll probably be too late for a lot of them. Or maybe it won't. I don't know. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch, but this stuff just continues on. Of course, you got RFK Jr., and everyone said as soon as he gets in, the Pfizer guy's going to be in jail, Dr. Fauci's going to be in jail. And they're like, no, we can't. Why? Pedophile Pete gave him a pre-pardon. Oh, I guess there's nothing you can do now. Fauci's just sitting there at his baseball game, probably throwing out the first pitch again.
Dr. Fauci, when you're ready, it's your pitch.
These guys can't even throw a baseball. These guys are like useless. But they're really good at what they do, which is to be the front man to kill almost everyone on Earth. And everyone's like, well, RFK's getting in. He's going to put them all in jail. Hasn't done anything. He's hanging out with all kinds of like rapists and murderers. And he, trying to get rid of the red food dye. You know, that was a huge thing. That's what I've been talking about for 15 years now. You've heard it a million times from me. Red food dye is the biggest problem we got in the world. I've said it so many times. And finally, he looked into it. He didn't really get rid of it, but he said it's a problem. Now, of course, I'm joking. I never even mentioned red food dye because it's such a small, little, tiny thing. But they had to pick the tiniest thing. Then he said the measles is a super dangerous, super serial.
I'm super serial.
Dangerous thing. And the best thing you can do to protect yourself from it is inject yourself with one of the most nanotech-laden vaccines, the MMR lethal injection. Oh, and he also said that the real health crisis in America is anti-Semitism. And no one even like laughed or like said, put him in an insane asylum or question him about it. It's incredible. And, you know, Trump put in all of these people, and people are like, oh, look, they're putting in Dr. Oz. Oh, Dr. Oz from Hollywood. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to do some great stuff.
Now, when you go home today, what should you do? I think you ought to think about 15-minute physicals. Your local hospitals will fund these. They're incredibly inexpensive to run. You can screen thousands of people for almost nothing, and you allow a conversation to take place in more of a festival-like setting. It's not scary. And I mentioned earlier that almost everybody who comes to our 50-minute physicals has a job, but a lot don't have insurance. Give them a way of crawling back out of the abyss of darkness, of fear over not having the health they need, and give them an opportunity, because they don't have the right to health, but they have the right to access, to a chance to get that health.
Yeah, Dr. Oz thinks you should be in 15-minute cities and get a 15-minute government checkup just to check on you. Yeah, people get, oh my gosh, you can't make this stuff up. Oh yeah, but all this stuff keeps getting pumped out. The chemtrails haven't stopped. The lethal injections haven't stopped. The wars haven't stopped. Nothing stopped. But if you listen to a bunch of brainwashed people who listen to like a CIA operation called Q, they'll tell you, oh, this is like super, he's playing like 150-degree D chess. This is what they said last time, by the way. I remember that because I was like saying all this stuff last time. Most people don't remember he was president. He used to be the president. Everyone's like, when he gets in, he's going to fix everything. It's like he didn't before. He actually expanded the government more than any other president in history. He locked down the entire country over a fake virus that doesn't even exist. Which, by the way, they're now saying they're rolling out their whole thing. think it's covid.gov or something, and they're like, it was a lab leak, which I've been saying for a long time. That's what they're going to do. They're going to say, they're going to mislead people in that way. Yeah, but he's playing like 5D chess. See, he couldn't do it last time. This is what they said last time. So last time, all these people, he was like, I'm going to pay off all the debt. Gonna look into 9/11, gonna shut down the Federal Reserve, all this stuff, and all these mind control people are all like, Jeff, gotta support Trump. And I'm like, that's what they always do. Have you not seen the Jones plantation? Apparently not. And they said, well, he couldn't do it in his first term, you see, because, you know, once he does it, you know, he's got to wait. He's got to wait, lose the next election, then he's got to get back in and then do it again. And he hasn't done anything for 3 months, so they're all like, well, he's got to wait till like the last day. It's like, do you know how stupid you sound? Do you know, when you're talking to someone completely delusional, and it's blatantly and obviously delusional, and they just keep saying, it's 5D chess. Say 5D chess one more time. Trump supporters after this election, ready for the Epstein files, deep state arrests, and ending the Federal Reserve. The good times are here. It's the golden age. Trump supporters now realizing they were played and have to weather 4 more years of war, debt, and surveillance. The thing is, like I said, the whole system is evil. And until people get that, none of the stuff will ever end. And unfortunately, they're not getting it fast enough. And they're going to be killing most of them, probably. Definitely enslaving them more. They're already all enslaved. Don't know if you noticed. But people have been indoctrinated. 12 years of government indoctrination camps. Every television show, it's got the doctors, and they're going to save you, and the cop shows, oh, they're going to keep you safe. They're the ones doing all this stuff. And they're the ones making sure the system continues on. And the only way to get rid of it is for everyone to realize the whole system is a criminal, evil entity that mostly functions under mind control, but most of the people who need to wake up to that are under the mind control and they can't wake up to it. And it's too bad. But this has been going on for centuries. Centuries. Like even the whole World War II, they still got a lot of people thinking, oh, my grandpa was a hero and all this sort of stuff. Your grandpa wasn't a hero. He was an idiot. My grandpa was in it too. Although I have to say, my grandpa didn't seem to care hardly at all. He was like a ham radio operator, and that's all he did. And he liked playing with ham radios. So in a way, he was kind of smarter, because he didn't go off and kill himself for nothing for a bunch of basically evil satanic death cult people. But, and I get it too, you know, like the personal stories when like a bunch of guys got fooled because they're under mind control to go over on the other side of the world and try to fight some other people for no reason when they actually should be friends. And then one guy gets shot and then another guy does a heroic act and like jumps on him before a grenade hits him and stuff like that. That's, you know, that's, you know, in its own way, heroic and beautiful and all that. But were they heroes? No. In general, no. Some of them might have done some heroic acts, but they were under mind control, and they actually perpetuated this entire system. And a lot of the people that people kind of respect have all said this. Like here's General George Patton. Here's what he said in 1945. He got it real quick. I've come this morning to the inexcusable conclusion that we have fought on the wrong side. This entire war we should have fought with the fascists against the communists, and not the other way around. I fear that perhaps in 50 years, America will pay a dear price and become a land of corruption and degenerate morals. And the sad part is, even that's wrong. They shouldn't have fought the fascists or the communists, although if you had to pick one, they did kind of choose the wrong side. But it was all set up by the same people. It was all set up by people like the Rothschilds to get all the goyim to kill each other. Until people realize this whole thing, all of it, is basically mind control and a scam and a fraud and a evil system, nothing will really change. They'll just keep continuing this stuff on. And what you have to do is just stay alive and try not to get impoverished or enslaved along with them. Or killed. because you'll get killed in many different ways. There are wars, there are depopulation agendas, all that kind of stuff. But you know, you go to the sports ball game and they got the national anthem. Everyone stands up and starts singing it. They're all under mind control. They're all in a cult. That's the thing. Most people in this world are all in cults. And if you know anything about anyone in cults, which you might recognize a few cults, right? You might recognize like a Hare Krishna cult. And go, oh, look at those people. They're in a cult. If you vote, if you believe in any of this stuff, if you think any of it's good, you're also in a cult. And also the organized religion stuff, all of them. The Catholics, the Muslims, the Jews for sure, all in cults. It's a world of cults. And no, everyone's basically under mind control. Oh well, what can you do? Just enjoy it. Meanwhile, as I mentioned, we've been in gold ever since the dollar vigilante started in 2010. And a lot of people say we're crazy or stupid. It's actually outperformed almost everything except for one other thing. And that's Bitcoin, which we recommended at $3. So we nailed the two best investments of the last 15 years. Am I on the front cover of The Economist magazine or Time magazine with my little pointy arrows over my head? No, because I'm actually trying to help people. And gold continues to hit all-time highs, like every day. And this is interesting. From the Shanghai Accord in 2016 to 2025, look at this gold chart. It's basically tripled in the last 9 years. And it's actually going up so much, it's leading me to think something massive is going to happen. I don't know what it is exactly. I've already laid out a number of the things. It could be the World War III stuff. It could be the cyber attacks. It could be the next pandemic, which they're planning all these things now. It could just be the financial and monetary system collapse, which is baked in the cake. But no one knows this stuff's going on. People are still sitting there watching their CNBC, wondering if they should get back into NVIDIA or not. It's like, it's all going down, and massively. And I think that's what gold is basically telling us right now. So it's going to be very interesting. You got to be really smart. I did a video yesterday talking about the Vigilante Insiders Club. You can go check it out if you're interested. But I talk about all the reasons why, if you've got some capital, if you don't, forget about it, you can't. But if you do, some decent amount of capital, you should really try to get into our Vigilante Insiders Club, which we just reopened this week. It's going to be closing on Saturday at midnight or earlier if we get too many people. You can go to dollarvigilante.com/Vic. And things are going to be changing so fast, you won't be able to, and you're going to be like, there's going to be insane things happening. Absolutely insane. If you're not in like a group like ours, you'll feel very alone. You won't know what to do. You won't have many options. And so I highly suggest you consider getting into our Vigilante Insiders Club. Plus, in the group, twice a month, I'll be helping everyone in the group basically reach the levels I'm reaching to escape the Matrix. And I think I'm already at the 4D and 5D, so I've already gotten out of the 3D. And that's a huge one. And I'm delving into the 6 every now and then. And I'm actually doing the work. I'm working super hard. I'm like in school. Like I never stop learning. Learning about how this entire system, the Matrix, everything, how it's all been set up, what's actually, how to get out of it, all that kind of stuff. I'm in a school for that. And they say I should get to the 7th D. So this is like not Trump 5D chess. This is legit stuff in the next month or two. So that's pretty cool. And once you get up to, I think, about the 12th, you're out of here. Like this won't exist. Actually, none of this ever existed. But definitely for me, this will be gone once I get to that stage. And I'm kind of a little even sad about it. I'm actually enjoying the Matrix. I don't know how many people really enjoy this Matrix, but once you get to the levels I'm getting to, everything's just awesome. It doesn't even matter what happens, really. Right, Jerry? Jerry, I don't know where apples went. But anyway, I don't know if we're ever going to reopen the Vigilante Insiders Club again. It's totally possible we won't. So if you've got some capital and you want to basically work with me like twice a month or more, and then everyone in the club, there's so many amazing people in there. A lot of them have already done this kind of work as well. It's like a whole group of neos. Not everyone, but a lot. You might not have a chance to get in, and we're probably going to make fortunes during all this. And what you'll find out is, it doesn't matter. That's actually one of the tricks about all this stuff. Once you might think you want to do all this stuff so that you can make fortunes and all that sort of stuff. It doesn't matter. Actually, the true fortunes, the real abundance, is in your health, in your family, stuff like that. Things that a lot of people like Andrew Tate and all that, they don't even talk about. They're all the misleaders out there. But anyway, go to dollarvigilante.com/Vic. Might be your last chance. You know how when you see something and years later you kind of regret it? That you didn't act on it? That could be right now. Could be. It is one of the most incredible clubs in the world. And the only thing that compares to it is the Tesla Club. So I'm in the 2 coolest clubs in the world. Now I know I'm biased on it because I love the Tesla. And of course, I started the Vigilante Insiders Club. So I'm very biased on the Vigilante Insiders Club. But those 2 groups are the most amazing groups I'm in. It's actually the only groups I'm in. And you can actually get in the group. And I'm in there every day too, by the way. If you get a Tesla machine, you get in the Tesla group. I'm in there basically every day talking about all kinds of stuff, helping people with stuff. So is everyone else. And actually in the Vigilante Insiders Club, someone asked just the other day, they said, hey, I know a lot of Vic members all have the Tesla. Can you give me some of your sort of reviews of it? Like, how's it been going for you? And a few people replied. Like Greasy said, I've had one since November. I had some long-term injuries, heal up within a month and never come back. The most significant was trigger finger arthritis. For 2 years, I couldn't close my hand into a fist and the knuckles were constantly in pain. I was contemplating surgery, cortisol injections. I felt relief from the first treatment, but took about 2 months of daily treatment for it to completely heal. I can close my hand completely now and have zero pain. Also had very painful hips, which is 80% better. I think the remaining pain comes from constant yard work and power lifting. I had a bad forearm injury in the gym and treated it directly with the Tesla. It was completely healed within 3 days, while my physio wife diagnosed it and said I'd have at least 2 weeks with no lifting, and then a gradual build to my previous workouts. My wife pulled a hamstring and treated it and was completely healed in 2 days. She couldn't believe it and wants to do some controlled studies to understand how it works. Apart from that, I feel more energetic after our treatment. I even think my mood's consistently better. I look forward to my Tesla session every morning. There's a meditative energy that settles over me after 10 minutes or so. It's hard to describe, but I feel myself suddenly hit a deeper level of consciousness, like the mind awake, body asleep state that people talk about when attempting to astral travel. I use that time now to visualize, program, deprogram. For me, the purchase was worth it, and worth it for my family who all use it. Of course, the only way to know is to bite the bullet and try it yourself. Yeah, there's so many things. The meditative stuff with this is incredible. It's basically you're connecting with source energy. More and more people are starting to realize this now and starting to really feel like, it's like, whoa, my meditations are like way better when I do it. Now, same with me, I meditate with it every day. I both use the bulbs on me and meditate, and then I go in a plasma bath and meditate. And I get like incredible downloads and stuff. It's so amazing. Oh, and I should point out that both of these things, the Vigilante Insiders Club and the Tesla, to become a member of Tesla, they're both fairly expensive for a lot of people. But I'd say this, you really actually, you have to spend money to get something, to make money or to get healed or stuff like that. So even if you think the price is kind of high, that's actually good, actually. It actually, you should feel some pain, because then you're giving your energy and feeling like, oh, I want to get something back, and you will. I can basically guarantee you will. So yeah, the person was asking the Vic, and then someone else responded. Rob said, I've had one for 3 months now. For the last 20 years, I've suffered from elevated blood pressure, which has always been an issue given that I was an airline pilot. With the arrival of my Tesla, my blood pressure dropped into the normal range after 4 days use, and only using it for 15 minutes a day. I'm also almost completely bald, and the hair that I do have, my wife cuts on a regular basis. Well, she announced to me a few days ago that I'm now growing new hair on the bald section. As I live on a farm, I'm always on the go, and my energy levels have definitely gone up as well. So with my limited exposure, I can confidently say it has definitely had a positive impact on my health. Yeah, so those things are out there. If you can't afford them, meditate. That's all you got to do. It's free. It's totally free, and hardly anyone does it. And most people will say, well, it's hard. I know it's hard, Well, it's actually not hard. It's actually super not hard. It feels like it's hard until you get through it. It's just like the first time you go to a gym. It's like, whoa, that was hard. After a month, it's not that hard anymore. It actually becomes fun now. Same thing. And it's all free. So don't tell me like, oh, Jeff, you gotta like spend a lot of money to get this stuff. First of all, like I said, you do have to give energy to get things. But you don't necessarily have to. You can do it all for free. It's all inside you. But you gotta do the work. And really, to survive what's coming, you're gonna have to do the work. So you might as well start today. And that's the thing that no one talks about. I don't hear anyone else talk about this stuff. I think I'm one of the only ones who can see what's happening and tells you what you need to do. And a lot of people just, think I'm crazy, or they'll say things like about the Tesla. It's like, oh, all these hundreds of people have had these amazing, miraculous things. It's all a placebo. It's like, really, the dogs are having placebo effects. Like I said before, if that's the case, it's still worth it. Maybe this machine is a placebo machine, and all it does is make you think that it's going to fix everything in your body, and then it does. Because actually, and this is true, your mind can actually heal everything in your body. Your mind can do anything. That's why you got to do the work. And who talks about this? Nobody. Nobody. I don't hear anybody talk about it. And I'm over here on BitChute, basically. I'm banned everywhere. And, oh well, you found it somehow. So hopefully you do it. I don't even care if you do it. Oh, I should mention, Liverpool's coming up in Serbia. We haven't fully announced it yet, but it should be announced very soon. That'll be in September in Serbia. That'll be all. It was so great last year. And then Anarchapulco is going to be in Puerto Vallarta in February next year. If the world still kind of exists, which it might. Who knows? It all kind of depends what you do too. If you don't change anything and things are going a certain way, they'll continue to go that way until you change it. This is your true man show. You create all of this. I'm just in it. I also have my own show, and you're in mine. It's amazing, and no one can see it. And you can do anything with your own mind, and no one talks about it. And if anyone says anything about, like, I see this quite often. Jeff, you don't offer any solutions. I offer solutions every single time, and it's the only solution. There's no other solution. Do the work. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't care. I just don't even care. But it's going to be interesting. It's so interesting. Everything going on. Like, what are the odds the Pope dies on Easter during the season of sacrifice, and it wasn't basically part of the show? But what's it really for? What's next? It's going to be so interesting. But what's next depends on what you do. If you don't change yourself, whatever's going on for you right now in the world will not change. And if you do change yourself, then it will. And it can get a lot better. Because none of this is actually real. You'll find that out if you meditate enough. Anyway, I don't even care if you do or not. But I think I'll leave it there. Where's Apples? Let's go get some food. What do you think, Jerry? Do you talk? Well, you never asked me before. Yeah, I talk. Oh, I didn't know you talked, Jerry. Yeah, of course I talk. I'm a Chihuahua. I'm not stupid. Oh, sorry, Jerry. You sound like you're kind of a little grumpy. Well, just a little, kind of a little annoying. It's been, 12 years? You just asked me now if I talk? Yeah, actually, I totally get it, Jerry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We've got 30 dogs. I know. There's like 20, 30 dogs around here. Yeah. I'm one of your oldest dogs. You would have thought by now you would have asked. Anyway, I'm glad you asked me now. Maybe I can fill in for Apple. She's never with you. I don't mind going out on the streets. Bruce trained me good. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight. Here's all the other dogs. They're ready to fight too. Let's go get them. Oh, there you are, Apples. Jerry ended up finishing your job for you. Sorry about that. I'm still not very good. Maybe Jerry is better. Maybe put a like down below if you prefer Jerry. What do you think about that, Jerry? Well, I don't want to take a job or anything, but you know, if everyone gives me an up like, I guess I'm in.